Lao He didn't give it much thought, but Lao Kui felt uneasy. The next day, Lao He returned home to visit his father and found someone mugging a finger inside. It turns out that Lao Kui and Lao He's dad are old pals. Years ago, Lao Kui helped out Lao He's dad. What a twist of fate. Stepping out of Lao He's dad's house, Lao Kui knew the drill. After collecting the last payment, he didn't forget to invite Lao He out for a feast. Due to family pressure, Lao He nodded in agreement, but Lao Kui started rambling again once seated. Lao Kui told Lao He, seeing you is like finding true love. The beauty beside was speechless, as Lao Kui disregarded his image, making Lao He shiver. Lao He quickly called his little brother to take Lao Kui to the restroom first, only to bump into his old boss on the way. The boss, as usual, was mocking him in front of everyone. Back then, he needed his favor, now, not anymore. Lao Kui toasted everyone but the boss. But that wasn't enough, he kept mocking the boss, adding to the awkwardness in the air. He even joked about the boss' genitals, making the boss face twist. Then stood up to keep mocking, pushing him to breaking point. Exactly what he wanted. Surrounded by friends from the gang, Lao Kui felt as calm as if he were at a hot pot restaurant. The boss was soon on the ground, and Lao Kui stepped in to deliver some kick skills. After decades of grievances, he finally let it all out. After being released, Lao Kui ripped off his shirt and threw it hard to the ground. His gaze was fierce with a bandit's charm. Though Lao He's uncle wasn't the sharpest dresser, Lao He couldn't help but think, maybe this guy could be his partner in crime. In family interactions, there's more trust. After sticking with Lao Kui ran fewer errands for others and even moved into a new home. Although the future seemed uncertain, as long as family was doing well, it was all worth it. The reason why Lao Kui was promoted because he understood business. When the underworld clears the way, the legitimate world suffers. With years of networking, he never lacked opportunities. With this ability, Lao Kui naturally became the second in command of the gang, experiencing life changes like swapping planets. Thus began the era of bad guys. Business at the casino boomed, and Lao Kui's ambition soared. One day, he went to the bathhouse to unwind and just happened to run into an old acquaintance. The acquaintance was the small boss who threw out pleasantries but clearly didn't care about him, the former little employee. Lao Kui merely nodded. No one disrespects a strong person. The acquaintance suddenly lit up, but what startled him even more, the server comes with the tray. Lao Kui grabs it directly. Seeing the server retreat awkwardly, the acquaintance realizes Lao Kui has changed. The acquaintance lowered his tone, asking Lao Kui for help with the matter, hinting at nightclub shares, which were going downhill. Although it was always packed, the place was losing money every month because the female shareholders were in cahoots with the gang. The acquaintance had some influence, but notorious gang leader Ban Hu was formidable. He had to swallow his pride. Lao Kui saw the nightclub booming. He wouldn't miss this chance. He told Lao He at once, only to learn Ban Hu was Lao He's subordinate, preventing him from intervening. Upon hearing this, Lao Kui mischievously prodded, "What nonsense is this?" But Lao Kui missed the mark. The underworld was no joke. Even the big boss needs a reason to step in. Suddenly, Lao Kui had an idea. He and Lao He were like family, finding an excuse wouldn't be hard. Lao Kui recruited his brother-in-law Xiao Mo to stir up trouble, but Xiao Mo faltered at the last minute, driving Lao Kui crazy. Lao Kui scolded Xiao Mo, "What's wrong with you, acting like a scared chicken? I've got to whip you into shape." After getting out of the car, Xiao Mo entered the room with the acquaintance. Lao Kui felt uneasy, knowing they had prepared a warm welcome. Red door eagerly awaited him. The acquaintance introduced the female shareholder, and Lao Kui's eyes wandered, admiring her elegance. Lao Kui casually greeted Ban Hu across the table, but was ignored. The atmosphere instantly turned awkward. Clearly, they wanted to intimidate him. Lao Kui went straight to the point, demanding the monthly report and someone to oversee the accounts. Suddenly, Ban Hu's henchman slammed the table, clearly turning dark. Ban Hu threatened Lao Kui, who looked disdainful. The female shareholder laughed with delight, becoming even prouder, completely oblivious to the shift in Lao Kui's gaze. But it didn't take long before Lao Kui was beaten up again and was roughly picked up and tossed out of the hotel door. Although the scene was extremely messy, he had ultimately achieved his goal. Was there a better reason for Lao He to step in than harming his family? Arriving at a nearby tea house, it was filled with brothers in arms. Once Lao He nodded, they grabbed their gear and headed towards the nightclub. Lao Kui's counterattack officially kicked off. As the largest gang in town, his subordinates were battle-hardened, and their numbers were clearly advantageous, causing Ban Hu's men to quickly crumble as reinforcements. An overwhelming situation formed. Using violence to counter violence was an eternal truth. When Lao He slowly walked into the scene, the fight was already over. Ban Hu stormed in, but upon seeing Lao He immediately relaxed. Learning Lao Kui was his relative, Ban Hu swallowed his pride and told Lao He had yielded half the venue but needed compensation for the brawl's medical bills. Lao He said the medical bills were no problem, but how could one place accommodate 2 gangs? Ban Hu looked displeased, but Lao He didn't budge. Out of old affection, Lao He decided to give Ban Hu one last chance, pushing the lighter towards him and asking him to light his cigarette for him. Instead, Ban Hu showed no intention of using it and pushed the lighter back, prompting Lao He to slowly snap his cigarette in half. Then Lao He grabbed Ban Hu's hair and smashed him on the head with a beer bottle until he became dizzy. Only then did Lao He call a little brother over to light a cigarette for him. Before taking a few puffs, he burned a cigarette butt on Ban Hu's face. Lao Qiu watched stunned, but with Lao He's support, the nightclub's revenues thrived. That day, while Lao Qiu was checking the accounts, the female shareholder complained about her shrinking share. Lao Qiu instantly became disgruntled.